Welcome. This is the State of the Climate Report for August 2011. If we thought July was a busy month, then we hadn't seen anything until we experienced August. But before we get to that, do you consider your family lucky or unlucky? Don't answer that question quite yet until you've compared your relations to this group. A woman was struck by lightning. She survived. Her cousin has been struck by lightning twice. Her nephew was struck by lightning 3 weeks before she was. Her brother was killed by lightning, as was her grandfather. I bet you're feeling luckier already. By the way, you can get struck by lightning before you even see there's a storm. A lightning bolt can travel up to 6 miles horizontally, and it travels many times faster than the speed of sound, so it will hit you before you even hear the first rumble. On that cheery note, let's talk about the state of the climate. As before, I'm going to divide this report into 4 parts. Part 1 is going to cover global temperatures. Part 2 is going to deal with US temperatures. Part 3 is going to discuss the cryosphere, mostly sea ice conditions. And then in the last part I'm going to deal with a short list of extreme weather phenomena around the world. Once again, at the end I'm going to announce the winners of our Guess the Global Temperatures competition for August. Most of these results are based on the NOAA data sources, but you'll get very similar results from any of the many other climate centres around the world. So let's first take a look at the global temperature trends. These 3 plots show us the average temperature over the land, ocean and the 2 combined, i.e. the global average temperature. Over land, this was the second highest August average temperature recorded in the last 131 years. The ocean temperature was the 12th warmest. Now that surprised me a bit. I assumed that temperatures would rise a bit faster than they evidently did. Hence, by combining the 2, we find that the global temperature was the 8th warmest on record. Comparing the last 3 months, we see that land has warmed significantly in relative terms, whereas the ocean has not. And as there's a lot more ocean than land, the global temperatures have not budged much either. Here we have the temperature map for July 2011. A red dot means that the temperature is warmer than the 1971 to 2000 average temperature for July. A blue dot indicates cooling. The larger the dot, the larger the difference. Now let's take a look at August by comparison. It seems that Europe has warmed, and the cold zone in northern Russia has moderated, but so has the hot area to its east. South America has cooled slightly, but Australia and North America have warmed. Before we go on to look at US temperatures, let's set up this month's competition. Here again are the relative rankings of land, ocean and global temperatures for the last 3 months. Your task, should you choose to accept it, is to predict the rankings for September 2011. Just enter the ranking in the comments section below, clearly stating which of your guesses is land temperature, ocean temperature and global temperature. I'll announce the winners next month. Now let us turn to US temperatures. Here's a map of the continental United States showing the departure from normal temperatures. You can see that Texas is having severe high temperatures, coupled with a devastating drought. Most of the south and the Intermountain West are not faring much better. By the way, I always think it is comical the way that the weather seems to stop at the Mexican and Canadian borders. One question I get asked repeatedly is the US showing any signs of global warming? The answer, of course, is yes, it is. There are many different indications of this, but the most telling is the relative number of high temperature records compared with the number of low temperature records. If there are more high temperature records set, then there is a warming trend, and if there are significantly more low temperature records set, then there's a cooling trend. So what I've gathered here is a simple table of the high and low temperature records set in the US during the month of August. There are 2 types of temperature records that can be set. You can have an unusually hot day and set a new daytime high temperature record, or you can have an unusually balmy night and set a new nightly high temperature record. Similarly, you can have an exceptionally cold day or night that set respective low temperature records. In August 2011 there were over 10,000 high temperature records set, and only 557 low temperatures set. That's a ratio of 18 to 1, which means there's a very strong warming trend going on in the United States at the moment. Now let's discuss the cryosphere. In August 2011, the Arctic sea ice extent was the 2nd lowest ever recorded. Here is a graph of the annual trend in Arctic sea ice extent. The black line is the average for the last 30 years, and the grey area is the normal variability. The dashed line is the record low sea ice extent in 2007. As you can see, 2011 has been similar and even exceeded 2007 at times. But this is the plot that is of much greater concern. This is the total amount of ice, not just the area. You can immediately see there's a consistent downward trend. This says that not only is there a smaller area, but the thickness of the ice is steadily reducing as well. As we might expect from the shifting wind patterns due to the ozone hole and the greater expanse of ocean in the southern hemisphere, the Antarctic sea ice is not faring so badly, and was near average levels in August. According to NOAA, the whole state of Texas is under some sort of drought condition, where over 80% of the state is in exceptional drought category, which is the highest ranked possible. There's been over $5 billion of losses in the farm industry in Texas. And now there's the added threat of wildfires. Extreme temperatures have not helped in Texas, Arkansas or Oklahoma. Several places have reported temperatures in excess of 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And Dallas, Fort Worth has had 40 consecutive days with temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees centigrade. There's also been heat waves in Italy, Switzerland, Austria, France and Spain, and throughout the Balkans. Some deaths have been reported due to heat-related illnesses. Meanwhile, floods have ravaged Pakistan, Nigeria and Uganda. And as I know all too well from personal experience, Hurricane Irene produced heavy rain and wind damage in the northeast US, leaving millions without power for many days. Also, there have been several severe storms around the world. In Canada, a very rare F3 tornado killed a man. In two spookily similar incidences, windstorms brought down stages at festivals, one in Belgium killing 5 and another at the Indiana State Fair killing 7. NOAA also reports that the number of tornadoes this year has likely already surpassed all previous record years. The super typhoon Mina, equivalent to a Category 4 hurricane, hit the Philippines and Taiwan, killing over 40 people and dumping upwards of 20 inches of rain. Tropical storm Muifa also hit the Philippines and South Korea, killing 14 people. Hurricane Irene killed over 40 people across 12 states in the northeast United States. New Zealand suffered a blast of very cold weather, registering some of the coldest temperatures it's ever seen and also experiencing very rare snowfall. Now let's take a look at our August competition winners. Best overall guess was from SS Art 98, with 706 Wilson in second place and Stephanie Pedroza in third place. Sean Turpin 01 was the only one to get the land temperature ranking correct. Nobody got the ocean temperature ranking correct. And Honest John 60 was the only one to get the overall global ranking correct. If you want to enter this month's competition, enter your guesses in the comments box below, making sure to say which one is land, which one is ocean and which one is global. And I'll keep a record of them and announce the winners during the next month. So that's it for today. Keep safe. Bye for now.